Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges. The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months.
I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in.
Offenders are singled out because they picked on the most innocent people there is. Their crime is the most heinous.
It looks like Diddy's luck has finally run out. He got arrested in New York just yesterday. And honestly, a lot of people are saying it's been a long time coming. Over the years, he's been tied to some pretty heavy accusations, from things like assault to even murder and physical abuse.
That video that you just spoke about was a few months ago when our team broke this disturbing video of Diddy violently assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, better known as the singer, her stage name, Cassie.
Now it seems like everything's catching up to him. The details of the charges haven't been fully revealed yet, but the word on the street is that they're tied to a big criminal investigation involving ST-ficking and other serious crimes. This isn't just local cops we're talking about either. Federal agents have already raided his homes in Beverly Hills and Miami. The walls are closing in, and fast.
On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges.
What's got people really buzzing is how the whole arrest went down. There's a lot of chatter about how the feds actually arrested him a day earlier than they originally planned. The theory is some folks think the authorities might have been worried that Diddy was a flight risk, or worse, that he might harm himself. It's not just speculation either. A video of Gene Deal, one of Diddy's former bodyguards, has been making the rounds again. In that interview, Gene hinted that Diddy might take his own life if he ever thought he'd end up in prison. He mentioned that Diddy just couldn't handle the thought of being locked up like that. So with all this going on, some are saying that's why the feds moved in sooner than expected.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility. I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars.
But that's not all. There's another darker rumor floating around, that Diddy might not even make it to jail. Some people believe that powerful figures in the music industry, the ones who might have had a hand in some of the shady stuff Diddy's being accused of, could be trying to silence him. Let's be real. It's hard to believe Diddy pulled off all of this by himself. If he starts talking or tries to cut a deal, he could bring a lot of other people down with him. So the conspiracy theory goes that these higher-ups might want to get rid of him before he starts naming names. And if all of that wasn't enough, even if Diddy makes it through this whole ordeal and ends up in prison, it's not exactly going to be a walk in the park. People in there don't take too kindly to folks convicted of the kinds of crimes Diddy's being accused of. There are plenty of stories about how inmates who commit crimes like assault or TF-ficking are treated behind bars, and it's not good. If he gets convicted, prison life could be a living nightmare for him. Of course, the internet is having a field day with all of this. 50 Cent, who's been trolling Diddy for years, is already cracking jokes and stirring things up online. Let's dive in deeper. So it's pretty clear from the grand jury's indictment that they think he's guilty of at least some of the things he's been accused of. The latest update is that Diddy was walking around New York with his son King Combs, looking like he had no idea that the feds were about to swoop in and take him into custody. Sources told TMZ that Diddy's arrest was actually supposed to happen on Tuesday, but something came up that made the move in a day early. The U.S. Attorney Damian Williams confirmed that federal agents arrested him based on a sealed indictment filed by the Southern District of New York. Even though the documents are sealed right now, they're supposed to be opened by tomorrow. All of this seems to be linked to the ongoing criminal investigation that's been looking into things like STF-icking and other serious charges. Apparently, the grand jury has been hearing testimony from various accusers over the past few months, which probably played a big role in the indictment.
The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of assault, physical abuse, gun and
A couple of months ago, Diddy's skeletons started tumbling out of the closet and his dark past came into the spotlight. We are particularly talking about his gay scandals, and everyone knows that inmates do not take gay issues lightly. Prison life has a darker side that most people on the outside don't fully understand. One of the unspoken rules is simple: you don't want to be labeled as gay. Whether it's true or just a rumor, carrying that label can make your life much harder behind bars, especially as a rapper. In prison, it's not just about serving your time, it's also about how others see you. And in Diddy's case, that perception could make things way rougher for him in there. There are a lot of other rappers and other high-profile inmates who reportedly have had to face or narrowly escape threats for being rumored to be gay. For instance, in an interview with DJ Vlad, the hip-hop commentator Taxstone shared a disturbing story. He recounted how a friend once mentioned that she had heard he was gay. This statement deeply unsettled him, not because it was true, but because of the implications it carried in prison. Where he's from, in prison, even a baseless rumor about one's preference can lead to severe abuse. Merely being seen talking to a gay inmate can result in being labeled as gay, making one a target for. Taxstone expressed how hearing such a rumor was terrifying, realizing that if he were still in prison, that label could be used against him. He described the immense relief he felt upon realizing he wasn't incarcerated at that moment, highlighting the constant anxiety such a threat induces. There are a few other rappers who've also dealt with gay rumors that could have seriously messed up their careers. Take for instance 50 Cent, although 50 Cent seems to be the only one giving Diddy a heads up on what's waiting for him behind bars. And yes, he was once an inmate, so who best to advise Diddy to brace up for what's about to come other than him? 50 Cent is not new to this. In fact, he has had to deal with rumors like this. Back in 2015, he made headlines for Shading Empire, saying the show's ratings were tanking because of too much gay stuff. He wasn't targeting anyone specifically, just the show in general. But things took a turn when his ex, Vivica Fox, got involved. On Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen asked Vivica about 50's comment, specifically about him blaming the ratings dip on the LGBTQ content. Her response: "First of all, the pot calling the kettle black is all I'm saying." And she didn't stop there. She even brought up an old XXL magazine cover with 50 and Soulja Boy as proof, which only stirred the pot even more. At the time, 50 was already dealing with the mess of his bankruptcy, so the gay rumors just felt like another shot to knock him down. But as we saw, it was all just talk. 50 managed to shake it off and come back stronger, proving that no matter what people throw at him, he's not going down that easily. And we will tell that some of the reasons why 50 is really sticking out his head for Diddy is because he knows exactly what he is saying. Back in 1995, Tupac had a dose of this while he was still locked up. Wendy Williams, a big name on the radio back then, spread a nasty rumor that Tupac had been assaulted in prison. This was completely untrue and really pissed Tupac off. He was open about his anger, saying Wendy's comments disrespected him, his family, and everything he stood for. He was even more frustrated that people bought into the lie. Other rappers like Mobb Deep and Biggie jumped on these rumors in their diss tracks like Drop a Gem on Him and Long Kiss Goodnight. According to Napoleon, these attacks were the last straw for Tupac. With everyone coming at him while he was in prison, he came out ready to fight back harder than ever. These rumors could have put Tupac in serious danger inside, adding another level of risk to his time behind bars.
Wendy Williams, she was the one that started that rumor that Tupac got in prison, right?
Exactly, like that. You know, Wendy Williams. At that particular time, she was hot on the radio. And she started rumor Pop got in prison. Like he in prison. He said, "I'm in prison."
Another rapper who faced similar issues is Lil Boosie. Boosie Badazz has been pretty vocal against the LGBTQ+ community, leading to a long-running feud with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. His comments about their 13-year-old daughter, Zaya Wade, who came out as transgender, sparked a lot of backlashes. Boosie even got banned from Instagram and Planet Fitness for making transphobic remarks. Initially, Wade and Union didn't engage with the media storm Boosie created, but Gabrielle Union eventually responded. During an interview with Jamel Hill, Union clapped back, saying, "He's so preoccupied. It's almost like don't protest too much, Lil Booze. You got a lot of D on your mind." She and Hill hinted that Boosie might be wrestling with his own issues, asking if he had something he wanted to share. Boosie fired back on Twitter, accusing Wade of being gay and throwing some harsh comments his way. On Vlad TV, Boosie shared his thoughts on Gabrielle Union's comments, saying he didn't actually believe Dwayne Wade was gay, but found her remarks hypocritical since she's a gay rights advocate. Vlad described Union's comments as gay bashing, which Boosie agreed with. He even mentioned that he tried to be respectful because his family asked him not to bring up Zaya. Comedian D.L. Hewley also weighed in, saying that while Wade and Union love and protect their child, they can't control other people's opinions, especially when they make their lives public. Hewley related it to his own experience, noting that while he supports his daughter, who married a woman, he was hesitant to post about it to avoid negative attention. He ended by saying that Boosie's comments don't change his own views on sexuality. Another rapper who dealt with similar rumors is Chris Brown. During the drama with Rihanna, rumors started flying that Chris was gay. In 2012, Raz B, a former B2K member, accused Brown of being a closeted homosexual in a memoir, suggesting that men who beat women often have hidden gay tendencies. Raz B claimed he had a friend close to Chris's camp who said Brown was involved with a songwriter named Andre Merritt, and that's why Chris went silent when the name was mentioned. It looks like the rules in prison are all about going after people who exploit others, especially when those others are in vulnerable positions and can't defend themselves. That pretty much lines up with everything Diddy's been accused of. Besides the potential for violence, like getting shanked, the charges against Diddy are serious enough that they could land him in prison for the rest of his life. If the legal system and the inmates themselves see his actions as taking advantage of those who couldn't fight back, Diddy's facing some heavy consequences in jail. You know, there have been plenty of real-life cases, and even if you haven't seen those, you've probably caught a movie or two where they show how convicts draw the line when it comes to certain crimes. They might not blink at someone who's taken a life, but when it comes to the stuff Diddy's been accused of, that's a different story. In the eyes of some inmates, those kinds of accusations are seen as unforgivable. It's the type of thing that could put a target on his back and might even lead to some serious danger for him behind bars. What helped Diddy rise to the top back in the day might actually be what brings him down now. If you know anything about his history, you'll know that a big part of his brand has been built on taking advantage of others and squeezing as much out of them as he could. But based on what we're hearing now, Diddy's been involved in a lot more than just using people for their talents.